folks, welcome to another episode of Think on These Things. I know it's been a while, a month to be exact, around July 4th last time I did one of these. And part of the reason I've just been busy, lots of things going on. Another reason is I'm kind of running out of ideas. So if you have ideas, put them in the comment section below. We have to moderate, we're a church, we can't just let anybody comment, so we have to moderate those things, but if it's kind and a good idea, we'll pop it up there for sure. And really any comment that's not unkind will pop up there. So make sure and put those ideas below in the comment section. Well, a couple of things that we need to cover. Not a super exciting Think on These Things episode today, but a few things we have to cover. Some of you know that the mayor issued a bunch of more mandates, sort of walking back some of the freedoms we had before, just to make sure that this virus can be kept at bay. Some people have been asking, how does this affect family groups? How does this affect our church? Are we going to stop meeting? Are we going to walk back to only doing online? The answer is no. Some of that's just going to be up to your own personal discretion, especially family groups. Most of our family groups are less than 10 people, so you definitely come under that restriction. Those of you who are larger, you're going to have to use some judgment calls and figure out what's best for you, your family, and what you feel comfortable with. As far as the church goes, the Hawaii Baptists have been in touch with the mayor's office, and they said no, they're not walking back to the days where we could have no church. We can still have church insofar as we provide masks and sanitization, and we try to keep the pews apart and that kind of stuff. So again, that's not something we can perfectly police as pastors. That's not something we're interested in doing on a Sunday morning, but we will still have worship at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings. I would encourage you all to come. On Sunday mornings, just so that you know, on Sunday mornings we have the congregation essentially spread across the campus. We have obviously this room with the pews spread apart. We have the conference room. We have, again, with chairs set apart. We have the mezzanine, again, room to spread out there. And then on the lanai, we have a big old huge screen in there with sound, so you can, again, go in there. So there are many options. Walking back away from that, if you don't feel comfortable coming on a Sunday, there's a lot of children and things on Sundays, walking back to the next option is, of course, our recording on Saturdays. On Saturdays, we come in, we sing a couple hymns, and then we prepare, and then I record my sermon. And we encourage Kapuna, really anyone who feels vulnerable, to be a part of that. There's about 30 or 40 people who come, and they sort of spread out in the sanctuary and watch the recording, they sing, and then they watch the recording. It's a little bit safer environment for those who feel a little more vulnerable. For those who feel most vulnerable, we are indeed still continue to provide the videos on Sunday morning. Always comes out at 7 a.m. On Sunday mornings. The video will be provided. Unfortunately, we don't have the worship section right now. It just was a little bit hard, or I guess it was a little hard on me to try to ask all these volunteers to show up on Saturdays and then show up again on Sundays and do the worship 2 days in a row, and it's pretty dominating of their time and effort. So we don't mind doing it as a staff, taking care of those things, but when it involves a bunch of other people, we've sort of scaled back on that. Maybe someday, as I talk to Steve, maybe someday we'll get to putting the worship back up. That way you guys can enjoy some worship as well at home. But again, that's for those who feel most vulnerable, and we respect that. We will continue to do that and continue to respect that. And we know some of you have infant babies, some of you have medical conditions, some of you are older or whatever. You just feel like that you're safer just staying at home, and we encourage you to do that if you feel that way. Well, on that line of thinking, I wanted to put up on your screen here some statistics about COVID here in Hawaii. This is taken exclusively from the Hawaiian Health Department as well as the Hawaii Census for 2020. And these are the numbers right now. You're looking at them right now. I want you to think about them, look at them, and make an informed decision. I feel like as we watch a lot of news or listen to politicians, sometimes we're getting half the story or only part of the story. The parts of the story that maybe are most convenient for them to tell, the side of the narrative that makes what they're wanting to do more amenable to people. And so it seems like we're getting partial data all the time. And so we have to look at the data ourselves and judge for ourselves what our own conscience dictate. But we do want to eventually gather again, as the Scripture tells us to, and you have to figure out what exactly is safest for you and best for you and your family. So as you look at that data, I know some of you will walk away and look at this data and say, man, this is all a hoax, and this is ridiculous, and there's political machinations behind the scene. We have folks in our church that feel that way, folks on the complete other end of the spectrum who feel like it's very unsafe to go out, unsafe to gather in church, and we want to minister all people, all of you, no matter where you are in the spectrum. And so hopefully with all the different options we have to worship, you'll be able to take part in Makakilo Baptist Church. There are still a number of things happening this fall. One of them, of course, is Men of the Word. We'll be launching again first Saturday of September. That is September the 5th, and we'll be meeting at 7 a.m. If you're interested in that, we're going to begin a study of the New Testament. We'll do part 1 the first semester. We meet once a month, and small groups once a month as well on the off Saturdays. And so if you're interested in that, go to the website. I think I'll put a link in the description below. You can link straight to the registration form, or actually it's just an interest form. If you fill out that interest form, your name and email, I'll send you an invitation. You can read more about the Institute of Church Leadership on that form. Women of the Word also will be starting up. That usually happens on the third Saturday of the month. More information coming on that. And then, of course, AWANA. AWANA is going to happen, albeit it's going to be a lot different. AWANA is coming in an online-only form. We weren't able to muster all the volunteers necessary. We could have done it. We could have sort of parceled things together, but we felt it's just best when it comes to children and child care and all the volunteers that's needed to make that happen in a proper way. We felt best to make that an online-only thing for at least this semester. So your children, you can stay up to date and keep your verses memorized and keep current in your book and that kind of thing for this next semester. And then prayerfully by the start of next semester, we can start again and you can come back and the kids can come back to AWANA. There will still be dive-in because that's a very monitored, heavily manned operation, and we can sort of keep all the strictures in place and make sure people are safe in that environment. So the dive-in will still be happening on Friday nights. All right, well, that's about it. A lot of other things happening this year, and if you have some good ideas, if I read some good ideas down in the comments, maybe I'll do 1 or 2 of them. I've done some things. I thought about recording. I installed a dishwasher. And I think you guys would have loved that because I poured water out all over my kitchen floor, but there was no camera there to record that, so I just had to tattletale on myself. Other things I could come up with to do, just let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll get around to doing them if I have the time. All right? Well, God bless. We're praying for you always. Thank you for praying for us, and we'll see you on the next episode.